hiding in plain sight, right? Ryan mentioned that before you. Is anyone familiar with the show House of Cards? You are looking at a giant owl statue in the show The House of Cards, out in what looks like a replica version of Bohemian Grove, doesn't it?
Crow of Elysium, we honor thee!
We honor thee! We honor thee! We honor thee!
No mortal flame can destroy common woe. Just one fire can conquer. Fire that burns in the fields of Elysium.
Hail, brothers! Many brothers!
Brothers many, make brothers one. Hail fellowship, hail Crow in his verdant kingdom. Common woe be done.
Hail, brothers! Common woe be done! Set us free! Set us free! Set us free! Set us free!
What you are looking at is what they call the cremation of care process that happens at every single ceremony that they are there.
Set us free! 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 Set us free!
Yeah.
Look around. Some of the most powerful men in the world are gathered in this clearing. Members of one of our country's most exclusive clubs. Invitation only, unless, of course, you invite yourself. They gather here to seek God between the branches of these magnificent trees. They eat together, they piss next to each other, and they carve up the world like a Sunday roast. This is where the real power is. No women or presidents allowed. The former I am not, the latter I will be again. Because I have managed to reduce a national election down to one state. And while these men here can't swing the votes of an entire nation, one measly state, well, that they can do. And that's why I'm here. So welcome to Elysian Fields.
Elysian Field in the show Bohemian Grove to most. As you see here, the giant owl statue with all the worshippers in front of it in the robes. Now, it's said that Alex Jones has journeyed here before and captured the real video footage of this, which is very difficult to actually find. In fact, he was actually arrested for that footage. So it's very difficult for anyone to find the actual footage of someone going to Bohemian Grove. Until today. But before we go there, we must also understand where we are going. Right? So, is anyone familiar with the skulls? Skull and Bones. So, there was a movie that came out called The Skulls, based upon George Bush. And it was how George Bush basically got inducted into Skull and Bones, and the process of how majority of presidents are inducted in Skull and Bones to go through, the order. You have to become a Freemason, of course, as you know. But had to go through the process of the order to become one of the elites. Okay? So to speak. Like I said, a replica version of things. But there were some very interesting things that were shown in the movie that was based upon.
Yeah.
Eat it. What do we get?
Your favorite.
Yeah, you're kidding.
Yeah. You're gonna have a heart attack at 30. I can see it. Hello?
Lucas McNamara, please.
Yeah, may I ask who's calling?
No, pizza.
Luke.
Some other
It's for you. Won't say who. How does anybody know you're up here?
Oh, shoot, it must be out, darling.
Oh, really?
So this character right
Hello?
here is supposed to
Are
be
you
the
ready
George
to be
Bush
reborn?
replica.
Who is this?
Payphone, outside
George
ad
Bush
building,
Jr.
40 seconds.
So as you see
Luke,
here,
wait,
he's going through the fraternity process of things. Of course, it was regular innocent, right?
The Astrolab, 20 seconds. Lose the bike. The windowsill.
It's not a coincidence that they put the planets in it.
Here we go, McNamara.
Notice the skull and bone symbol. Being reborn. As you do an apprenticeship of Freemason. You are reborn.
Guess this one didn't make it through the reborn part.
You better check his breathing.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't react too well to the drugs.
Hey, Caleb. Where can I get some more of that shit?
I'm Judge Lytton Mandrake, and on behalf of the council, welcome. In any fellowship, you need someone you can trust. Someone to be there, always and for anything. A soulmate. Well, my soulmate is Senator Ames Leverett, class of '72.
Gentlemen, you've been arranged in pairs, soulmates. Each soulmate was chosen to complement the other and to accept responsibility for the other.
Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Pitcairn.
Thank you.
Open them. Our membership, like life, has its pleasures, its hardships, and sometimes its pain. But unlike life, the connection between you is eternal. Let this seal the bond between you. Be silent as you endure. Well done. Gentlemen, put on your watches. With the council as your witnesses, you have now become soulmates.
And now, gentlemen, the rules.
We live by the rules. We die by the rules.
Read your rule book. There's a rule for every possible situation. Guard the key to our entry and your rule book as you would guard your own lives. Most important, remember, our rules supersede those of the outside world. A skull above any other.
A skull above any other.
Well done, gentlemen. Congratulations. As chairman of the Order of Skulls and on behalf of the council and the 322 alumni throughout the world, gentlemen, you are welcome. Welcome home. The proudest day of my life, Caleb.
Thanks, Dad. I want to make you proud.
Interesting as enough as it is, right? We have the movie reference of the Skull and Bones. Now, if you people don't know what Skull and Bones is, I would suggest you do your research on that as well. And I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis on Skull and Bones, okay? So, the Skulls, that movie is a 2000 American thriller film directed by Rob Cohen, starring Joshua Jackson, Paul Walker, the famous Paul Walker, rest in peace, and Leslie Bibb. Its plot is based upon some of the conspiracy theories surrounding Yale University's Skull and Bones Student Society. Okay? Now, Skull and Bones, I'm going to bring this up for you guys here. This comes directly from the History Channel's website. Okay. Like I said, we're going there tonight. We are going there tonight. Okay. You see here the symbol Skull and Bones, 322. Symbol of Skull and Bones is appropriately a skull with two crossbones. What's less clear is the meaning of the number 322 beneath them. Yale Alumni magazine points to a popular theory that it represents the year 322 BC when Alexander the Great died. Alexander Crowley is who they're talking about. The 1966 Bilderberg Conference took place in Wiesbaden, Germany, where leading American and Europeans met, including NATO Security General Manilo Brasio, to the left. It says here the first Bilderberg meeting was in 1954 and was held at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, from which the organization gets its name. Convened by Prince Bernard of the Netherlands, it was a gathering of powerful politicians from North America and Europe designed to foster warmer relations between the two continents among fears of growing anti-Americanism in Europe. Okay, so before we get into all that, right? Before we even get into all that, the Order of Skull and Bones is a secret society founded at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut in 1832. Skull and Bones founder William Huntington Russell was inspired by an occult society he'd visited in Germany. His co-founder was Alphonso Taft, future Secretary of War under President Grant and father of President William Howard Taft, who would also be a member of Skull and Bones. The prominent list of bonesmen includes several presidents and modern-day power brokers. And then how you join Skull and Bones. Okay, so each year, 15 seniors at Yale are tapped to join Skull and Bones. Their names are published in Yale Rumpus, though what happens behind the closed doors of the tomb, the windowless meeting space where bonesmen gather twice a week, is under wraps. Members take an oath of secrecy. Graduate members are referred to as patriarchs, while those undergoing initiation are called knights. Outsiders of the group are barbarians. Famous Skull and Bones members include Presidents William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and his son George W. Bush as well. Founder of the Time magazine, Henry Luce, former Secretary of State and presidential hopeful John Kerry, Fortune 500 elites, and members of the CIA as well. The controversial 1986 expose, America's Secret Establishment by Anthony Sutton, claimed that Skull and Bones was out to create a new world order run by bonesmen, prompting a myriad of conspiracy theories. Interesting. Now, we mentioned Bohemian Grove, right? So, if we look here, a lot of memorabilia, right? Different things we see, right? I'm going to show you someone that's actually shot in a video in these exact areas, on these exact grounds. And as they say, people are always hiding in plain sight, are they not? People are always hiding in plain sight. This particular picture is about to stand out to you guys, because a particular rapper shot a video at Bohemian Grove right up underneath everyone's face, right up underneath everyone's nose. Now, I'm going to cut the audio on this one, just for copyright reasons. But you'll understand who it is. That's right. That's Drake. Mr. OVO himself. Mr. Owl himself. Now, we've all seen the owl symbol in his videos. We've all seen the owl symbol in the clothing, as you see here. But this is him literally at Bohemian Grove. Performing the Headlines video. As we all know, a lot, and I mean a lot, of our favorite coveted artists are part of that secret society. Now, they might not be in high rankings or of the 33rd degree masonry, as such as Jay-Z's and the Kanye's and the Diddy's. They might not be up there high in knowledge of rankings. But they definitely are, needless to say, paid for, as far as their rankings of influence. And we all know Drake is a very high ranking of influence nowadays, shall we say? Because this was 10 years ago. This is the Headlines video. We all see where Drake is now, don't we? And we all see where those owl symbols have taken him. We all see where his Jewish bloodline has taken him. So, let's take a look in further at that video, shall we? Now, the main things to note out, of course, is the all black wearing. The I will remain in secrecy, if you will. I promise not to tell. I promise not to let all of the secrets out. As you see him putting up the symbols of the Illuminati there, and the Baphomet symbol. So, let us now take that trip to Bohemian Grove, shall we? Since a lot of us probably don't think it exists. Let us go to Bohemian Grove.
Got dropped off. I'm here at the entrance of Bohemian Grove, and we're gonna do this thing. So I'm out here again. I'm pretty close to the entrance of Bohemian Grove. We're gonna be trying to infiltrate the site. This is Bohemian Grove Infiltration Part 2. Yeah, this should be fun. I was on the Joe Rogan podcast a few weeks ago, and Joe Rogan 2078. Yeah, he called me a loon. He called me a crazy person for using a cast iron pan. You know, it was the only paddle that I had available at the time. This was a last minute mission that I wanted to do. Yeah, I didn't have a paddle, so it was the only paddle-like thing I had on me. So I had to use what I had to do what I had to do. I think the cast iron worked pretty well, but this time we're not going to be going across the river because there's been a lot of rain in the last few weeks, and that would be a really stupid idea because the water is rushing super fast.
So as you heard, this is not his first time going to Bohemian Grove. A part of me watching this, the first two times that I've seen him go to, the first time and this time, I started to wonder, was he maybe a family member of one of these guys at Bohemian Grove? Or was he a son or a nephew? Or, I mean, the way he was able to just know everything about the Bohemian Grove and the entire, I mean, how to get in there, where to go, it just made me a little bit suspicious. I'm just saying. But, needless to say, let's all hop on the Magic School Bus to Bohemian Grove. Starting with our first exhibit, where he journeys into one of the houses. But first, let's look at one of the trucks here. As you can see, the Bohemian Grove symbol with the owl. A lot of owl worship.
Okay, so we're pretty deep into the site right now. And we're trying to get to this red dot right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna make my way down here and then continue on these logging roads until we get to this red pin right here. And yeah, we are right here at the blue dot.
In here, he gets into one of the campgrounds. But he starts to find some very interesting documents that are in here.
Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, 2023, May 1st. Hotel quality bed pillows. Hotel quality bed pillows. Yeah, so we got small heating blankets, 2023. Camp Hideaway, 1995. Ed Armfield, Bill Green, George Hopiak, Bill Haydorn, Fred Walter, Joe Rafferty, and so on. And that was 1995. This is 1998. And you guys can read all those dudes. There's some familiar faces from 1995. Oh. 1981. Jerry Scott, Bob Pond, Fred Walther, Bert Davis, Alex Davis, Tom Mulvihill. Peter F. Dune, original founder of Camp Hideaway, who art now in yet another heaven. Hideaway Camp founders, Red Martin and Artie Dune.
Once again, shout out the dancer for even risking his life to even go out to Bohemian
That looks like
Grove.
A really old picture. 1927.
1927. That tells you how long they've been running Bohemian Grove and how long the government has been in operation in secrecy to everyone. That they've been operating out of Bohemian Grove with all of their secrets. That's crazy there. So he basically found a shit ton of documents and a lot of pictures that showed different senates, different presidents, different people of influence, NASA workers, lawyers, CIA members, FBI workers, you name it.
Hideaway membership, Wow. There's that Camp Hideaway book. The Last Man Who Knew Everything. Bohemian Club library notes. Damn, that bottom shelf is locked. Oh, wow. That looks like there's no date on this. Dude, there is a lot of shit. This is like October 26, 2000. This is like all Camp Hideaway stuff. Hideaway, 1992. 2018, Generations of Service. $2,000, Camp Hideaway. Admiral Arleigh Albert Burke. Yeah, 1988, Fairfax, Virginia. This seems to be, yeah. I guess there's individual camps.
Trust me when I tell you, everybody at home, if we were to pause and go through every single one of these pictures and names, we would be here for about 10 more hours on this one
This
pod
is the first
alone.
cabin.
If you would like to pause and do your own Googles and research, that's what I'm showing you this information for.
Yeah, somebody just left a charger in here. Aspirin. Midsummer Encampment 2023. Program of events. This is going to be interesting. Huh. Wow. Property of the Guy DJ Chorus. There's 4 mics. Yeah. Weaving Spiders coming out here. Encampment 2014. You need to carry this card with you in the Grove as a security measure. You may be asked to present your card to a Grove security officer. 2016 encampment. That's a weird looking owl. Looks fucking deranged. Whoops. Sausalito Yacht Club. Wool Blankets 2023. Sound engineering. Oh, it's some nice Levi jeans from Bohemian Grove. They had tons of sound equipment. Towels. Number 3 is locked. Captain's quarters. Number 4 is also locked. Number 9 is unlocked. Yeah, this was 2023. Spirit of the occasion. To hide away from Arleigh Burke.
So, quick note: they were recently there.
They even like made the fucking beds.
A spirit of the occasion was the name of the ceremony. A spirit of the occasion.
Jesus. Oh wow, Durango to Silverton Belt. Bohemian Grove butt pad. Don't give up on your day job, Bohemian Chorus. A wise owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't we be like this old bird? Are these Bohemian flags? Like, what am I looking at here? What does that say? Don't tread on me. It's just a snake. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, they got pretty nice shoes here. Watch this be like straight up wads of cash. I doubt it. Camp Hideaway roster, 1987. Yeah, I mean, there's just tons of pictures from, it seems like the Camp Hideaway 1987 ceremony. Somebody's holiday card. 1970s to 2012. Oh, wow. That's crazy. It's a photo album from the 70s to 2012. All camps and members 1930 to 1997. That is crazy. That all that info is here.
All right, let's move along.
Those boxes, but
this was rather disturbing when he finds this.
let's see if there's actually blankets in here. Okay. Christmas in Bohemia. Come as children, little children. 1997. That is a sinister.
Come as little children. 1997. A bit disturbing and disgusting, if you ask me.
Fucking, what the fuck? I don't know, man. This shit is fucking weird. Those boxes, but Christianity Matters. Cremation of Care, July 18th, 98. The Space Case. An Evening on the Rivers Road, 1998. Huh. A lot of monitors.
He finds a heavily guarded area here that it appears that he's not going to be able to get to.
I feel like there's definitely somebody in this place right here. I'm not gonna fuck around and find out. It looks like that's security. I think I see a bunch of screens right there. Oh, somebody padlocked this. Yeah, this is like a new cabin, so they don't got any, don't really got any papers in here. Oh, 2023 encampment. Moro camp members. There's a bunch of people. The captain, Jordan Schneitzer. Bob Alsvog, Executive Officer of KPMG International, 2002 to 2006. Included member firms in 150 countries and more than 100,000 employees. Bob joined KPMG in the Denver office in 1969, was elected partner in 78. Prior positions included managing partner of the San Francisco office. He grew up in Portland, where he still resides, 4 children. The CEO and president of Schneitzer Properties. I don't know, just a bunch of like weird rich guys. And probably have done some sketchy shit, but who knows? Apparently this guy's 7'6". He doesn't look 7'6". Who knows? That's kind of weird to put your height in your biography, but if he's 7'6", I guess that makes sense, because that's fucking whack. What the fuck is this? Well, that's not child friendly. Gonna have to blur that.
Found something rather disgusting and disturbing. Very Diddy Party-like, I guess. So as you can see here, he's done a very good infiltration job of going through the entire Bohemian Grove and finding every nook and cranny as far as documentation, pictures, of people of
No way.
and very big importance.
No way. Are these cigars? These are cigars. Wow. There's no cigars in here though. Somebody smoked all of them. It's a pretty nice little power cord. Huh. Huh.
More owl memorabilia.
I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of sus.
Wiring and rope.
There's like a lot of shit in here.
Charges, evidently.
Oh wow. Cabernet Sauvignon. Dumbbells. Yeah, this is a Schnitzer.
Notice the bananas. The banana symbolism, the banana logo on there. I wonder what was in that.
Well, this got to be Domino's. Yep. Oh, is that a chessboard? Yeah, it is. That's crazy. That's nice. This shit's fucking heavy as fuck. That's a nice chessboard. ...2019 encampment. Walking Bohemian's home. A guide to the Bohemian Grove backcountry.
More rope.
Looks like they got a private reserve Cabernet Sauvignon.
There was an owl guy on the suit there he was looking at. That looked like a Ouija board. He got into this cabin pretty good. All right, who's ready to go to that statue? Power split.
And here it is again. It's a lot louder this time around. And they've been doing some construction.
found the statue.
To remember Richard Hotaling, High Priest at this altar. You know, I've always wanted to piss on an altar. Well, yeah, here's the owl statue and the altar. There's a cross over there. Let's fucking take a whiz right on the owl. Oh shit, did I?
Rightfully so, sir. Rightfully so.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, there's a cross thing. Oh, this thing's locked.
A door inside of the owl. Interesting.
Got a bunch of gas.
Seems to be where the fireworks go off at.
Oh, here's where the guy does the bell ringing.
Yep.
I'm definitely not gonna do that. Just asking for trouble.
Note, he rang off the emergency phone by accident earlier.
No way. There's a light on in here. It's locked though. The fuck? I mean, you can kind of see what's in there. I can actually... Huh. Well, that sucks. Yeah, this is like, you can actually go inside the owl. Oh shit. I mean, it's definitely just as hollow as the last time I was here. And there's a lot more water in this reservoir. There's been a ton of rain. Yeah, you can see the light coming from the inside of the owl.
As he said, they're doing renovations, so I wonder if they're going to be doing something very, very soon. He just saw pictures of them doing a 2023, so I wonder if the 2024 is coming up very soon.
Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be too much to worry about back here. We're like extremely deep in the grove. And you'd think if we were gonna have any problems, we would have already had problems. But I guess we'll just have to find out.
Fuck around and find out, you say? Well, needless to say, Dancer did get caught, but he did get away. I'll show you here. He did get away at least, and made it to broad day. So, that was our journey to Bohemian Grove. And I hope everyone was paying good attention and good notes. Now, for this next part, I would like to give a disclaimer, okay? For this next part, if you are easily triggered by child molestation, if you are easily triggered by what you have already heard about Bohemian Grove, if you are easily triggered by anything to do with kidnapping, I do not advise that you watch this next segment, because we're going to also get an interview from a young girl by the name of Teresa, who was kidnapped and captured and held at Bohemian Grove. So, once again, if you're triggered by any of those things, do not watch this next segment.
To describe this story as horrifying would be an understatement.
But
and if
this
that
is
sounds
more
like a
proof
warning,
of
then
what
that's
Ryan
exactly what it's
Garcia
meant to be.
was talking
it
about
deals with the sexual
kidnapping
abuse of children by satanic cults. And not only
Bohemian
that,
Grove.
human sacrifices as well. We started investigating these secret satanic cults when a British member of Parliament linked them with the ritual murder of children. In this day and age, it sounded too far-fetched, as did suggestions that the same thing might be happening in Australia. But then we met Teresa. She's only 15, and for 12 of those years, she's been the victim of relentless depravity. Teresa's story is both shocking and compelling, yet it's a story she's anxious to tell. But again, we should warn you that parts of this report may be distressing.
Friends of family and strangers and my family used to rape me. Make me abort the babies I had.
It would be hard to imagine more misery and suffering than what Teresa says she's had to endure.
And us kids would be made to do things with the adults and the animals. And then a sacrifice would happen.
The sacrifice, were these animal sacrifices?
Animals and people.
On what scale do you think this was happening?
Enormous. Far beyond what we've ever heard of here before.
Teresa's mother, Bridget.
You're talking about mass murder?
Yes. On a scale that this country's never heard of before. Like the old people's homes now, only these are...
For the first time, Teresa is learning what it's like to live with love instead of fear.
Pretty though.
In this quiet English village, with the help of her mother, she's slowly repairing her broken life. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home it was my nan.
Your Nan made you have sex with animals?
Yeah. like goats and donkeys.
The story of Teresa is a story almost too horrible to recount. A case of child abuse that goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with the abuse of children. In 27 years of reporting, it has to be one of the most painful stories I have ever had to tell.
How many men or how many people would have sex with you?
What, at one time?
Yes.
About everyone who was there, which must have been about 20. You know, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing. Or smiling. Or having sex with another man. Or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
Children don't make up elaborate lies that this would have to be if it was a lie.
The craziest thing about this is that Ryan Garcia said himself that he was tied down and forced to watch these exact things that Teresa is describing she went through.
Which I know it is not. It isn't.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving.
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened, you're quite sure of that?
Yeah.
The police don't think Teresa made up a story. Some of the cult members are to stand trial. 5 men have been charged with rape. As for Nan, the grandmother, she's 61 and lives in this council flat in South London. She's charged on 7 counts of aiding and abetting rape and 2 counts of performing abortions on Teresa. If you're finding this hard to believe, so did I at first. But then there are the medical reports, evidence of sustained sexual abuse. And there's this, a statement prepared for 60 Minutes by Teresa's psychiatrist. It says, in my opinion, Teresa's account is not the product of a psychotic illness, nor the figment of a fertile imagination. I believe her to be telling the truth.
I know what's true and what's not.
We also took Teresa's story to this man, therapist Ray Wire. He reads a transcript of our interview and listens to her voice.
It's no dream.
Few people, if any, in Britain have counselled as many victims of satanic abuse or Satanists themselves as Ray Wire has. If there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him.
Do you believe Teresa's story?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past 2 years alone.
Themes like they were put in boxes with spiders and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice.
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms. Now, listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left in there. I would have come out deranged. I could not have coped with that mentally at all.
You have evidence to back up stories like Teresa's, that this is really happening?
Well, we have that age of child, 6, 5 and 4, giving information that ties up with Teresa. How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
Nightmares, imagining it?
You can't imagine those things at 3 and 4 years old, and you also don't have the evidence of anal sex abuse and oral sex abuse and all that other abuse that clearly those children have experienced and endured.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
Notice how much she tenses up just by the mention of that. Just by the mention of her having to even remember that, how much she tensed up with that.
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil. According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, you know, expensive. From the front, it looked like a castle. You know, it had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
Big double wooden doors out in the country. What does that sound like to you? Doesn't it sound like where we just visited?
Now, where was this big house somewhere in the country? Teresa says she can't take the police there because the Satanists made sure she'd never know how to find it.
Teresa was always drugged, or on a couple of occasions she says she was knocked out, so that she never fully knew the route.
There was a tramp who was brought in once, you know, and he was killed. He was cut from his throat down to his stomach, and they ate him, or bits of him.
They killed a man at a ceremony?
Yeah.
In front of you?
Yeah, in front of all of us.
Did the tramp, did this man fight back?
No, I think he was, you know, drunk or something. He seemed really dopey. He was laughing a lot when he was brought in. And
they made sure the man was completely out of his mind before they killed him. So apparently he had no idea where he was even going before they even murdered him.
He started screaming when they began to cut. But after a while, you know, he died. I'd seen a few killings before then. Although I wasn't used to it, you know, that was the worst one. I really don't know what I thought. I suppose I thought, thank God it's not me.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah. I've seen loads of babies killed there. Just newborn babies. Or aborted ones, which were only small. You know, 4-year-olds. Any age, really.
Did they ever say they might kill you?
They threatened to kill my little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
Motherhood at the age of 11. But from what Teresa told her
11
mother,
years old.
It wasn't the only pregnancy.
We think about 7 or 8 times. It's hard to say. It was constantly happening from the time she was capable of being pregnant.
What happened to the pregnancies, to the babies?
They were aborted by my nan or by one of the doctors at the house.
There were doctors there at that house?
Yeah, there was 2, I think. Yeah, and a nurse.
What would happen to the fetuses, the unborn babies?
I used to be taken away most of the time, and one time the baby was taken out of me and then killed in front of me because it was still alive.
And then, what would happen?
Well, after they killed it, they would eat it. But we were also made to eat it.
You heard it there. She was made to basically eat her own child that she was torn. The child was torn out of her. The abortion was done right in front of her, and she was made to eat it. That's probably the sickest shit that I've ever heard in my entire life.
You were made to eat your own fetus.
Yeah.
Who made you do this?
My nan.
You'd think the one person in the world you could leave a little girl with would be Grandma. Someone to give her love and protect her from harm. Yet, when Teresa was left to live with her grandmother, they might as well have handed her to the devil himself.
Grandmothers, I mean, the vision it conjures up for you, a sweet old lady with grey hair, rosy cheeks, holding her arms out to love her grandchildren. And it was exactly the reverse.
But why was Teresa living with Nan in the first place and not with her mother?
Well, when my first marriage broke up, I took the children with me and couldn't cope. So I gave them to their father, who in turn moved to his mother's.
To Nan's place?
Yeah. And when he left the Nan's place, he left the children there.
How do you feel now towards her grandma and the other people who did all those things to your daughter?
They disgust me. They are the worst form of life this earth has had the misfortune to create. Vile.
Did you ever try to run away? You must have been frightened.
A couple of times I did, but my uncle, he caught me and brought me back.
Going to the police? Did that occur to you?
No. No. I thought it was normal, you know, even though I didn't like it. You know, I mean, you don't like to eat greens, but you know, somehow, I thought it was just her being called to be kind or something like that.
She said to me it was something that everybody did, she thought, you know, like you don't like going to school or the dentist, you don't like going to the black masses.
It was never any different. I didn't have nothing to compare it to.
All part of life, Teresa thought. Even a miscarriage one day at school.
Yeah, I asked the teacher if I could go to the toilet, and she allowed me out. I went into the toilet and the baby was in my knickers. I thought it was dead, but it wasn't. It was still moving.
And yet no one at school knew?
No.
Saw anything?
No. Or if they did, they didn't say. No, she was treated for a high temperature, fever, nothing more.
What did she do with the baby?
She kept her for a while because she was frightened that they'd use the child as part of the rituals. So she turned the pencil case into a little coffin. Apparently she put roses in to make her smell sweet, put a letter with her, pictures of herself and her brother, a picture of me.
And then I put it down the chute because I didn't want my nan to get it.
As we said earlier, the police have already charged some members of the cult, and we know they're also investigating Teresa's accounts of those ritual killings. If there were as many, she told us, then the Satanists had a problem. How did they get rid of the bodies?
They had a tub, you know, pretty big, I don't know. A very big tub, and they used to put the bodies and bones in there. And it used to go like, you know, fizzy and that. And then there was nothing left. Well, there didn't seem to be, but when they cleared it out, there used to be a sludge at the bottom.
Teresa's story, her account, doesn't really surprise you.
It doesn't surprise me in the light of satanic abuse, no.
Do you get frustrated with people who just won't accept that these things do happen?
Yes, because I've worked with murderers in prisons for years. Not that long ago, a boy was found in a forest in southern England without a head. We have no doubts that men can do that. And yet when we start talking about men within Satanism who actually believe in evil and it's the right to express evil, we suddenly have a doubt.
As I was leaving Teresa's place, she handed me this note. It's addressed to the film crew. She says, "Thanks for bothering to help kids like me. I hope it helps." On the other side, there's a poem Teresa made up while she was staying at Nan's place. She calls it Nothing Left.
Nothing left. I would scream, but there is no voice left. I would cry, but there are no tears left. I'd fight, but there is no strength left.
That was just part of our investigation of Satanism in Britain. We're also gathering evidence about the activities of such cults here in Australia.
And of course, that's never the end of it. It's never the end of it. So that was like I said, one of the heavier ones that, like I said, Brian Garcia was trying to tell people about. That he was, like I said, forced and sit down to watch. Very traumatizing thing, very traumatizing situation that young Teresa had to go through. That's a very intense one. That's what I give a disclaimer right beforehand, because I didn't want anybody to, you know, be triggered by, you know, all those events. But that is the things that go on at not only at Bohemian Grove, that go on, like you just heard, in Australia, go on in Great Britain and different places. Not necessarily representing those places, but those are the things that go on inside of these secret cults.